We've already secured nearly $3 trillion of new investments in the United States, and probably that's going to be 6 or 7 by the end of the week. Tremendous amounts of money are coming in for many things other than even AI. AI seems to be very hot. It seems to be the thing that a lot of smart people are looking at very strongly. And our country will be prospering like never before. I think that's true, and it's going to be the golden age of America.
Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. And what can I say? Trump is back, and we're already witnessing monumental shifts in our country. Just as he promised, the golden age is upon us, and we're seeing massive improvements in our economy already. The S&P 500 just had its most impressive week, interestingly, since the 2016 election. And guess what? Nearly 90% of stocks are soaring. Investors are not just hopeful, they're predicting a massive economic upswing in 2025. And yet, despite that, many are still sitting on the sidelines, unprepared for the economic surge that's coming. Now, despite that economic surge we're already seeing in the Trump administration, the legacy media are actually trying to downplay what's happening. Many establishment so-called experts are either distracted or obliviously denying the boom that's occurring right before our very eyes. Now, keep in mind, these are the same people that were telling us just weeks ago that Biden's economy was the strongest and best economy ever. Now, despite the skyrocketing stocks and signs of increasing prosperity, unfortunately, countless individuals find themselves just paralyzed with fear rather than seizing this historic moment that we're in. And so this is where our expert, Troy Noonan, steps in to guide you out of the chaos. He's seen countless patriots like you achieve financial freedom. And this is easier than ever to accomplish in this incredible economic wave. So don't just sit there being a spectator. Let Troy show you how to get in the game and participate in this financial renaissance. Troy, welcome back. Great to see you as always, my friend.
You as well, Dr. Steve. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's awesome. Always great having you. So, look, you're an expert trader. This is what you eat, sleep, and drink this stuff. You do this daily. In your opinion, what's actually going on with the stock market right now? You're on the front lines of this.
Well, as you said, there's a lot of perception that the environment for business and growth it's here and it's happening. And like the first week since President Trump's been in office, the market has been up like 1.7%. I'm referring to the S&P 500, which is a good benchmark to lean on. It's the 500 largest companies, and hitting new all-time highs, as you said. And that's not all. There's a lot of stocks that are doing so. Amazon is trading at its highest level, and Apple just, although there was a sell-off over the last week or two, some profit taking or whatever, it had hit its all-time profit level, highest stock price level ever, just within the last several weeks too. So it's exciting. I mean, if things keep going up and up and up, people make a lot of money, obviously. Consumers are spending with confidence. But as you said, there's a fear factor too. And I think that's wise, actually. It's not all going to be straight up. There's going to be a lot of volatility as well. And headlines hit at any moment that can cause the markets to sell and or to go up. I mean, there's other factors at play around the world, and no one knows what they all are. It's impossible.
Right.
So what do you do to protect yourself, as you asked? And for me, it's all about trading.
Mm-hmm.
Trading, you get in, you get out, you get done, and you take advantage of these explosive price moves.
Yeah.
And so whether the market goes up or down, you could profit from it if you learn how.
Yeah, that's what I've learned. Again, every time I chat with you, I love the perspective that you bring. You're not an investor, you're a trader. I mean, I know you have your investments as well. You're talking about that, yes. but trading is a different art than investment. I'm curious what there is a precedent to this. We're in a unique position in that we've been here before. So, Trump had a first term some years back with an interregnum period, an interruption. But back then, did you previously, what did you experience about the stock market under Trump's first term? Did you discern any noticeable patterns there?
Well, I mean, if you look at the day before he was inaugurated to the day he left office, I think again, just using the S&P as kind of like a proxy for the whole market, it was up over 60+%.
Wow.
Which is a pretty large gain. But it wasn't a straight line. And let's not forget, like, there was talk about headline news and something unpredictable hitting our lives. We had COVID.
Yeah.
And the market crashed. And there was a point in time when you look at the stock market and go, it hasn't gone up at all. Because all the gains that were made came back crashing down.
Right.
And then it zoomed back up again.
Right.
And that was actually a buying opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
And the collective wisdom of the market's pretty interesting to study, because you have buyers, you have sellers, then you have those on the sidelines who can come and go at any time. And it creates supply and demand, buyers, sellers. I always refer to it as green bars for up, red bars for down. They're pushing on each other. And there were price patterns that occurred that predicted the crash before it happened. If I have proprietary indicators that print the trades on the chart, and they're based on this idea that a price pattern reflects, the overall collective wisdom of the market. And because human nature basically doesn't change, these price patterns reoccur over and over and over and over.
Right.
And they happen so often that we could take a large enough sample of these and predict what's going to happen next. Right? We've seen it so many times that usually this pattern happens and this thing happens next. And that gives you a good trade, because the odds are on your side. It's not going to be 100% right, but it doesn't have to be. You're right more often than you're wrong, and you make money like that. So a particular pattern showed up on the longer term charts leading right before the crash. And if you followed the pattern, you saw the trade, you could have shorted the market and made a ton of money as it crashed. And then the similar pattern showed you a trade to get long, and you could have then rode it back up again. And that's the beauty of trading.
That's the beauty of trade as opposed to investing. Again, I find it's much more dynamic, and I mean, it seems like it does require that kind of price patterning perception in a way that, again, long-term investment just doesn't have. It almost seems a bit more, it's more active than passive in that sense. What are you seeing? Do you have some predictions for the stock market and the economy now? What Trump said last Monday, the golden age begins now. What do you just based on what you're seeing, do you see anything along the horizon here?
Well, first of all, I really get into my thoughts about markets in general on the free training that I'm offering. So I'd like to invite your guests to be sure they click on the link and join my free training. But I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek at my thoughts that you should probably know what they are already. And I know it's not the sexiest answer, but I tend to try not to predict what's going to happen, because my guess is as good as anyone else's. Now, I would say, based on history, that by the end of the term, it's highly likely that the markets will be much higher than they are now. However, who knows if there's another COVID or something else that derails that. There's other factors in the world that affect the markets other than, who's running things at the top. So trends are good, but there's a lot of things that are unpredictable too. And so I just let the chart patterns tell me what to do instead of trying to predict. I'm like, oh, this pattern has happened so often that the likely next thing is usually this. I'm going to place a trade. And then who knows why it is. It predicted the COVID crash before COVID actually caused the crash, but the pattern saw it coming in advance. Maybe it would have been something else. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like the price pattern is the price pattern, and I try not to overthink it.
Can I just, you have often explained to us, I remember when we were on the cruise together and you were explaining this, you can make money on an up market or a down market. This is the beauty of trading, right?
Yes.
I mean, you can make money if the market is flourishing. You can make money if the market is shrinking, right? It's just making sure
Right.
you tap into these price patterns that you're talking about here.
Yeah. So I have this theory, and I teach this to all my students, that the immediate past can predict the immediate future with a high degree of accuracy.
Right.
And so the immediate past might be whatever just occurred that caused a specific pattern, and a pattern that's common, that happens all the time, that repeats over and over and over. And so, and so what's the immediate future? Well, it's the likely outcome that happens after that pattern that we've seen so many times. And so it makes for easy trading. You just keep it really simple. And I don't really think too hard on what drove that or created that pattern. I'm focusing
Right.
on how could I now take advantage of it.
Right.
So a really good example is the market's going up and up and up, but the trade today that got to the goals of one of my favorite trading plans, day trading plan, is trading crude oil futures. And people's eyes glaze over when I try to explain what that is. But basically, you push the blue button to go up, and you push the red button if you want to go down. And that's all you have to really think on. But it was a down trade, a trade that went down, that hit its goals, that happened within just a few minutes. So even though the market's up, it was a trade that went down that was, that was a successful trade and had us quitting with a winning result with that trade plan. So it's like, a lot depends on if you're talking about macro moves or all the smaller moves that happen inside of that.
Right. Right.
So
yeah,
there's
I mean,
different ways to trade.
you mentioned, and I had the benefit of sitting through one of your presentations, and that I believe is the part of the free training that you're offering. If our listeners click on the link or they scan the QR code, can you give us a little bit of an insight of what they're gonna encounter if they do that?
Yeah. So basically, there's a lot of reasons why people think they can't succeed at trading, and we go through each one by one, and I basically explain, well, that's what's preventing you from succeeding, and it's really easily solved by doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And so we basically get rid of the roadblocks, and then we one of the main things is a framework that I like to follow, and it's a step-by-step process. So I explain exactly what that is and how to take advantage of it. There's a certain order of things to do. Like, you don't want to skip steps, and it's like a lot of people trying to trade do everything wrong because no one's told them the right way to do it. But a person trying to trade tends to not succeed. So you have to kind of wonder why that is. And you don't want to do what that is. You want to do what it takes to succeed. So, it's talking about the free training is explaining what you need to do to succeed. And it's really important to get it right, because it could change your life. I mean, trading could really, you can reinvent yourself. That's the pathway to fire your boss.
Yeah.
Change. Basically, it's the best business in the world, isn't it? No employees, no inventory, no customers. It's just you, your wits, your computer. And if you have a little bit of knowledge, keep it real simple. Learn how to identify a pattern. And guess what? There are things that that identify the pattern for you.
Right.
And it just puts the trade, like, this pattern happened. It shows you the trade right on the chart. In fact, if you'd like, I could share an example.
Yeah, please do.
Of what it looked like right before COVID, and what the pattern was. It showed the trade that was, like what I just explained. If you want, I can show that to you.
Okay, cool. This looks great. Awesome. Troy, explain to us the green and the red.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I realize that this, it looks like modern art. If you don't know what you're looking at, maybe not the most beautiful modern art you put on your wall, but for traders, it's actually really quite attractive. So the green bars are like this one here, for example. That represents a day of trading where the market went up.
Okay.
And a red bar represents a day of trading where the market went down.
Okay.
So this is obviously several weeks worth of trading, and you can see it's trending up, 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 right? This is during Trump's first term. And this is actually leading into, like, this is the end of 2019.
Okay.
Right? And then you get this on the right edge of the chart where all trading takes place. Notice the 3 dots on the top.
Oh yeah, I see that.
That's a sneaky little indicator that we created that tells us that the buyers have become exhausted
Ah,
and there may not be a lot more room for the market to go up. Now, that's just one of the things that create this pattern. There's other things also that corroborate that. But what ends up happening, if you look down here, the market really dropped. And if we were to click on that day, we would see that it is on February 24th, 2020, right? So a few days
yes.
earlier,
Yeah.
the 20th, I believe, was the day that's credited for the beginning of the crash.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is 3 days into it, and then you'll see the little white symbol right here. That's an entry signal to go down, to short the market.
Ah.
Right down. So it looked at a pattern, and we can't necessarily see all the math that created the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
It's a price pattern. I explain it in greater detail in the training. I don't want to I don't want to bore everybody, but just take my word for it that it's a price pattern, and it triggered in when the next day it crashed right through the entry. And so if you placed your trade here, you'd be short, and you'd make money when the market goes down. And then there are dots below which represent target objectives. And those targets are predicted based on the pattern. So sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're smaller. It's dynamic to the market condition, the volatility at the time. So it's like I always say, the best patterns to make money with and trade with know how to dance with the market.
Right. Right.
And so I use that term because you're following the leader. The market's the leader. And sometimes it's going to move fast, sometimes slow, sometimes big moves, sometimes small moves, and you have to be able to flow with it. And so it's all there for you. You see the entire trade on the chart, your entry, you have targets. It shows you here in the window, the data window. And if I scrunch this down, you can see there's even more targets down below. There's these 3 targets. So this is the immediate future being predicted. Right. So you have the immediate past creates the trade, and the immediate future that we want to trade on that's being predicted are these target levels.
I see. And what's so fascinating too with the program that you have is you actually have simulators for this, so students can learn to do all this, but without risking money. Correct?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's an important step.
Yeah.
It's not a first step, but it's definitely an important step in the middle there. That you're going to learn how to execute trades, but you're also going to learn how to run your trade plan properly, like a business owner would run their business.
Right.
So now you're not worried about whether a trade wins or loses. Your job is to execute a trade plan that you've proven. And that's part of what the training session, that's what the thing I teach. That's my CEO Trader Mastermind, that I teach everyone how to go from a person trying to trade, transform themselves into the CEO of their own business, running a trading business. A business, it only takes a few minutes a day if you do it right.
Right.
Which is what I teach also. So,
and that's when you get to fire your boss, as you put it.
Yeah. And we're not trying to make another job for ourselves. We're trying to, we want to create this business for ourselves that only takes a few minutes. But if you don't mind, I was going to show you what happened. I'm not sure if, thanks. So notice how it came down a few days later.
Yeah.
And hit the target.
Oh, I see.
Perfectly.
Oh, wow.
And then it's a green bar. So it hit the target, but then it bounced up and closed way up here. So you have orders that you're automatically out of the trade with all your money in hand. So this is what I mean by the price pattern predicted the market crash in advance. The collective wisdom of the market, right? Who could have foreseen that we would have been hit with a pandemic that would cause the market to crash? Well, it doesn't matter. The price action itself sends something, right? So then all of a sudden that set up what, it moved down further.
Right.
And there's, the little white dots here is a trailing stop. So you could have had a position that held longer, all the way down to here. Right. So you take profit at these targets, but then you could have also continued to hold all the way down to here. Now you have a long setup. I just taught you the whole thing. the sellers are exhausted with these dots. You have a set. There's your little plus sign. You're going to place an order to go long, and this started one of the biggest market moves in history. And there's you can see there's a few trades in here, but it ended up being predicted perfectly. See?
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, and this is just one example of how you trade with a price pattern that happens so often that you could predict the likely outcome. And you'll notice that the different sizes of where the targets, like these are close. This is a small little trade, but it hit it perfectly, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, I remember we were geeking out on this at the cruise. I was like, wow,
I know.
so cool.
I don't want to bore everyone, and I just wanted to show you
That's
an example of what I'm
yeah.
talking about. Immediate past can predict the immediate future. That happened. That's a thing in history it'll always be there.
Yeah, gang. I mean, this is so cool. I just have to repeat this. We're in a historic moment here. Don't be a spectator for it. You need to get in the game, and be a participant in what's coming. And that's what he's going to help you do. He's helped hundreds of Turley talkers become financially free through his training programs. And that was during the Biden years too. Imagine what he can accomplish in the golden age.
That was Trump's. That was his final year.
No, that's right. No, but the way you were able to help all of our Turley talkers.
Yeah.
It was during the Biden years, and that's
right. Again, it doesn't matter if the markets go up or down, they're going to move because there's so much going on in the world that moves markets, whether it's presidents or just headline news or some unforeseen world event, which is always going to be the case. It's not like trading will ever go out of style.
Right.
It's always going to be there.
Exactly.
It's a good skill to learn. You have it for your life.
So that's all people have to do. Just click on the link or just scan the QR code, and they're going to get the free training.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's been very successful, as you know, very popular.
Very
popular. I'm always excited about it.
Well, our audience loves you, man, and you've just brought so much prosperity to so many people's lives and changed lives. And it's just wonderful to see. So again, gang, make sure you click on that link below or scan the QR code and check out Troy's free training and learn how to become a trader and enjoy the financial independence that comes from being, as Troy would say, a backpack trader. A trader who can just grab your backpack, grab your laptop, go anywhere you want and make money. So great to see you again,
Troy. Just going to your own sofa.
That's right. From your own sofa, man. It's the golden age. It's the golden age. All right. Great to see you, Troy. Come on back soon.
Thank you, Dr. Steve.